Okay, guys, I'm going to try this one more time. So let's take a look at your DMA for day 4. And I want to look at the first problem. And if you notice, this is a bar diagram. And a bar diagram, when we look at a bar diagram, we use the bars to decide how many people voted for something or how many objects are being represented. So in this case, we had somebody ask people, what is your favorite shape? So if you look at your title, it says students' favorite shapes. And always make sure you look at your scale. Your scale is telling you, now this isn't a scale that you use to weigh yourself, but this is a scale to tell us how many of the votes were shown for each one of these shapes. So if you notice, these are the number of students that voted for this shape. So number of students voted for the circle, there were 6. Okay. Then for the square, there were 5. So where that bar lines up. And for the triangle, where that bar lines up for the triangle, that is 9. So 6 students voted for the circle as their favorite shape. 5 students voted for the square as their favorite shape. And 9 students voted for the triangle as their favorite shape. Now, let's go to the question and see what we're going to do with this information. So it says, how many more students like triangles than squares? Now remember, when you see the word how many more and then, we're comparing one amount to another amount. So for example, if I had 5 oranges and you had 2 oranges, how many more oranges would I have than you? So if I have 5 oranges and you had 2, how many more would it take to catch up to the number of oranges that I have from 2? Now, if you said 3, that would be correct, which means that we're using subtraction here. So my 5 compared to your 2 makes a difference of 3. Now, they want us to find the difference between triangles, students that voted for triangles, and students that voted for squares. So if you look right here, there's a difference right here. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a difference of 4 students that voted for triangles more than squares. And that's where you get that how many more and the word than. So 9 students voted for triangles, 5 students voted for squares. That's a difference of 4 students. So 4 more students like triangles than squares. 4 more students like triangles than squares. Okay? 3 more students like triangles than circles. Okay? Now, if this was an addition problem, then they would have said this is and. Okay? It would have been and. And if I'm going to change this, if this was and, then it would be an addition sentence, but it's not. So this is not adding them together. It's not adding the triangles to the squares, okay? You would have to have an and in there. All right, let's take a look at our equations. We have 42 divided by 6. So if I had 6 groups, and some of us are forgetting what we're doing when we're dividing, we're sharing something equally. That means we're taking all the objects and we're putting them into groups. Now, you could do a couple of different things. There's lots of strategies that we've used. You could use repeated subtraction, right? You could start with 42 and take 6 away, and that would give you 36. Subtract 6 again, that would give you 30. Subtract 6 again, that would give you 24. And if you haven't noticed, these are counting back by sixes. So 42, 36, 30, 24. If I keep going, I subtract 6 again, and that's going to give me 18. Subtract 6 again. Now I'm at 12. Subtract 6. Now I'm at 6. And finally, subtract 6, and now I'm at 0. So, how many groups of 6 was I able to subtract from 42? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that tells me I have 7 groups of 6. Now, I could also put these objects into groups. So I could start with 5, which is what somebody said today in class. I could start with 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And another group would be 30. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 30. Now, I could start taking and putting ones in. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and finally 42. So 5 and 2 makes 7. So that would be 7 in each group. Or if you know your multiplication tables really well, you could take your 6 groups of what is equal to 42. And if you know your multiplication facts well, you would say 6 groups of 7 is equal to 42. Now, let's take a look at 16 divided by 8. If I take these 16 objects and I take away 8, I'm left with 8. And if I take 8 and subtract 8 more, I'm left with 0. How many groups of 8 was I able to subtract? 2. So, my quotient, remember, this is your dividend divisor quotient. Or, if you know your multiplication facts, 8 times blank equals 16. Well, 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. So, 2 groups of 8 is equal to 16. So, again, many strategies. Okay, we're looking for a product here. So, we have a factor of 7. We have a factor of 4. 7 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 7. So I could add 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. And this 7 plus 7 is 14. And 14 plus 14 is going to give you are correct, 28. All right, last one, it's on a number line. And we have this one whole is broken up into 8 equal parts. How do I know? Because I'm going to count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They want me to find 2 8s. So if I count 2 spaces from 0, that tells me my numerator, I'm going to have 2 of the 8 pieces up to this point, 2 8s. To find 7 8s, I would count 7 parts up to, from the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or something else that somebody mentioned today in class was you could go up 5 more from the 2 8s to get 7 8s. Because from 2 8s to 7 8s is going to be 5 8s. So that's another way to think about it also, the difference between these two. Now, what I want you to think about is if I were to complete my labeling of this number line, what fraction, and I'm just going to highlight this, 4/8. What is the simplest form of 4/8? Now think about where you're at on the number line. Where is 4/8? And what fraction is 4/8 equivalent to when I start breaking up this one whole into 8 equal pieces? So 4/8 in simplest form is equal to what? And I'm just going to give you a little hint. Look at where this 4/8 is between 0 and 1. Hopefully everybody sees where it's at. So 4/8 is equal to what? Okay. Make sure that you finish up your assignment, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.